everybody and welcome to the channel. Bob Sales, this time's next year.
It has to warm up.
Why?
So it can kill you.
The Addams Family are a fictional household created by American cartoonist Charles Addams. They first appeared in a series of single-panel cartoons published in the New Yorker magazine starting in 1938. The comic strip and the characters actually had no name at the time. The family is characterised by their macabre interest, dark humour and love for all things spooky and gothic. The original members of the Addams Family include Gomez, Morticia Addams, their children Wednesday and Pudgy, Uncle Fester, Grandma and Butler Lurch. They even had the disembodied hand called Thing. Over time, other characters and pets have been introduced to the family. The Addams Family have been adopted into various forms of media, including comics, television series, films, and now stage productions, and even musicals. The most famous adaptation must be in the 1960s, their actual original television series. This has since been followed by several animated TV series, cartoons, TV movies, spanning over multiple different years and decades. The most notable being the 1991 film directed by Barry Sonnenfeld. This also includes the Addams Family Values film in 1993. These movies starred Raul Julia as Gomez, Angelica Houston as Morticia, and Christopher Lloyd as Uncle Fester.
Baby hits 88 miles per hour.
And yes, the Doc from Back to the Future is Uncle Fester. Now this is what I would class as my generation Addams Family. This is what I think of. This is essentially my James Bond. And a fun personal fact, my dad used to think my mum looked like Morticia. Raul Julia, Mr. Addams, unfortunately passed away before the third movie could be made. This is how we got the 1998 adaptation featuring Tim Curry and a whole new cast of Addams, and this was a complete bomb. More recently, Illumination Studio, the studio behind Despicable Me,
Illumination. Illumination. Illumination.
picked up the rights for the Addams Family. They had director Tim Burton signed up. However, this film didn't get made with that director. Although Tim Burton did, however, go on to make the future Wednesday series on Netflix, even directing the first 4 episodes himself. The 2019 animated adoption has an odd art style, but if you go back to the origins, the comic strip, the characters do look close to this style. So the ones we were actually getting on veve are based off this film. I did actually watch this film the other night and it's actually really good. Some of the stories changed, but essentially it's still the Addams Family. Looking for a new home, the Addams stumble on Lurch as well as an insane asylum that's actually abandoned. Going inside, seeing the macabre quirky house being dark and pretty creepy, the Addams made this their home for years and years. However, while they were on the hill in the dark side on the smoke, a whole town development had been built around them. When the smog actually clears, they see what is in front of them. The Addams actually tried to fit in, but everyone around them just wants them gone. Well, mostly. We also more recently had the Wednesday series on Netflix. This is more a take on Teen Wednesday, growing up with life around her and dealing with normal life while being so different to everyone else. We also have the Lady Gaga song, which has been an insane TikTok dance trend all around the world. The song, the dance from Wednesday itself has been everywhere. In fact, if you go and watch some of my shorts, you may find that song. So here's some fun facts I found along the way. So the sets themselves have some of the most quirkiest items in set, and the house was built for the Addams to essentially never leave. A lot of the set was actually reused from the insinkable Molly Brown musical production. This was also by MGM. And yes, that's Titanic's new money, Molly Brown. And if you didn't see my Titanic video, if you want to know more about the remarkable passengers and also some of the more recent events, please go back and watch that one. That actually took 3 days to make. Pugsley was nearly called Pubert, but it was deemed not appropriate, so it was later changed. However, later on we did see Pubert's name used in the Addams Family Values film. This was the baby they threw off the roof. Also, did you know that in the 1960s, the TV version, this was black and white, but did you know that the set was actually pink and red? This was to show the black and the white contrast better on screen. Although this TV series has been played for many years, it wasn't actually a success. It only ran for 2 years before ending. The Monsters also come out the same week, and both shows and sets were pretty similar. The Monsters actually got more numbers viewer wise, but both shows were cancelled after 2 years. sharing the same fate. And what was to blame? No other than Adam West's Batman. Yes, this overly camp, very bright, and had all the pews and pals to go with it. In compared to the monsters and the Addams Family, dark, ghoulish, colourless sets, it really didn't compete.
Batman came on with a big rush. It was a storm.
Did you also know the original TV series Lurch, Ted Cassidy, was also the hand in the same show? He also improvised that very deep voice, and he even had a hit record and even performed it live, and this was as the Lurch. On the same show, you'll also notice Gomez is constantly lighting up a cigar. But did you know that actor had to put them out before they become short, as they wouldn't look so elegant on the camera? So after about 6 puffs, he actually puts it in his suit pocket and lights another one up. And yes, his suit pocket was specially lined, so it was flame retardant. And the show was also sponsored by a cigar company, so they could waste whatever they didn't smoke. Songwriter Vic Mizzy was the composer for the original song at the beginning of the show. This has become as big and as iconic as the show itself. I'll let him explain the making process.
Now here's my idea. Ba 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 bum, ba 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 bum, ba 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 bum, da 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 dum, ba 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 bum.
As always, there is a dark side. The 1991 movie adaptation obviously pulled from the original Charles Addams Old New Yorker cartoons, as well as the old TV series. The same theme song, the same characters. The rights were actually held by David Levy, the original producer of the 1960s TV show. He essentially created Thing, Lurch playing the organ, and so on. Even the way Gomez obsesses over his own wife and kisses up the arm. So although Paramount had the comic book rights, they didn't have the TV series rights, which had become its own thing pretty much. David sued Paramount and they did actually settle out of court, but this was because Paramount already knew they had already started the second film. So as always, that's been the story. Let's get to the drop. Get kooky when 3 Addams Family digital collectibles drop in blind box waitlist format Tuesday the 31st of October, 8 AM PT, which of course is 4 PM UK time. List price for this collection is going to be 25 gems and all variations are animated with sound. First edition for public sale is going to be 41 and the license is MGM. A total of 90 editions from each rarity will be withheld by veve and the license source. Wednesday is the first edition and she is classed as a rare and will be mint in 2,500 editions. Thing is the ultra rare and will be mint in 1,964 editions. This is the original TV series start date, I believe. Secret Rare's the Addams Family Portrait, and this variation will be mint in 964 editions. And this is my favourite by far, and yet it's a poster. In my opinion, Han could have been better, but all the characters do look how the film represents them. And the animation for me and the style is not great. That's not Vive's problem. Vive's problem is the animation. The animation could have been better. Now with Wednesday, she's actually great and she's great in this film, by the way. I would actually want a longer piece of music. That's the only downfall on this piece. But the Secret Rare is really cool and is definitely my favourite. The spider in the web, the thunder in the background, the sound I like. It could have maybe had a bit more sound to it, but for me the Secret Rare is definitely the play or none. I don't think the hand will stay over retail whatsoever, and I don't expect Wednesday to either, but she's probably going to do better than the hand. But the Secret Rare is definitely the winner for this drop. I probably will hit the drop on stream. I hope for that Secret Rare, but it is a very high risk drop. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, let me know your game plan. I've been your host Bob Sales. This time next year, we will be millionaires. Peace!
Children, what are you doing?
I'm going to electrocute him.
But we're late for the charity auction.
But Mother...
I said no.
Please?
Oh, all right.